So I've been on a short break following the crazy 9 video week, and with the stress test being pulled, my usual feedback video would be kind of pointless, as 6 matches isn't really enough to get a good base to give feedback from on a whole. Little things, yeah, but not game health and balance, etc. Instead, I've decided just to talk about a few things I would like to see in Predecessor. Some of these things will be realistic, some of them might just be insane nonsense, so just bear that in mind before you ask if I'm smooth-brained. Because I am. Before getting sucked into a Gideon portal, remember to sub if you haven't already, and auto attack the like or dislike button and ping some feedback or a question in the comment section. I think that was pretty slick. So the first and second thing are pretty huge ideas, but I think they would be pretty neat. Map skins and announcer packs in the shop. The reason I say that is because League used to have cycling skins for things like autumn, Halloween, winter, Christmas, that kind of thing, and it was a good idea. Once the art and design guys are less busy, they could go on about creating skins for the map, like spring, summer, autumn and winter, or even special ones for Halloween and Christmas or other events during the year. But pushing it even further, you could even have hero-specific map skins like one for Gideon, where there are magical effects in certain areas, and the structures have more of a purplish hue like a magic attack when they fire. I think that would be a really cool way you could personalize the map to your preferences, though granted it would take a lot of effort, and if Fringe hears me say this idea, he's probably thinking, I fucking hate this guy, because of all the work that would require. Voiceovers, however, would be easier and much more fun to do. As we said a while back in the Discord, I joked about a Justin Roiland voiceover pack, which for those of you who don't know his name, he's the guy who voices Rick and Morty, as well as Lemon Grab from Adventure Time, and is well known throughout the voiceover world for many other voices. I think having the option to change your announcer to be voiced by a few characters people will know, or actors people will know, budget permitting, would be neat. I like the current announcer, but don't get me wrong, it would be cool to have this as an option. Final note on these ideas, put a randomize button that randomizes my skin, map skin, and voiceover pack. Just saying. The third thing I'd like to see in Pred, which will help all laptop players and lower end PC players, is either or both FSR and DLSS technologies. For those that don't know, FSR and DLSS are, to give them their full names, Fidelity FX Super Resolution and Deep Learning Super Sampling both work to achieve the same goal. More frames, and they do this by upscaling a lower resolution to your native resolution so that the image quality is slightly worse, but based on my experience, barely noticeable. But you get quite a large bump in frame rate, all varying on your resolution and PC specs of course. I know this isn't as glamorous as map skins or voiceovers or anything like that, but I feel it would help the community quite a bit with performance. My fourth addition I'd like to see is a scalable HUD, or even the ability to scale and move the HUD. Now bear with me on this. Just in case you've never heard anyone say HUD before, I mean the heads-up display. The HP bar, the mana bar, map, items, etc. That is all displayed on the HUD. Pred's HUD is nice, don't get me wrong. But even on League, back when I used to play that, I used to really shrink the HUD down, as when you are used to a game, you barely really need to look at it, other than for the map of course. If I could scale the HUD or even individual components such as the hero overview, chat, the map, and even allow me to move the map around, that would be a game changer for me. I would be free to minimize parts I don't look at often, and free up screen space for the game, which would be a clearer view, and that would be awesome. The fifth thing I would like to see is Wangle getting binned. Wait, no, we already did that. The fifth thing I'd like to actually see is inhibitors that either respawn or that you can work towards getting to respawn. As was said on the Discord previously, you used to be able to, in Paragon at least, use an orb you got from Orb Prime to dunk it on a part of the map, and if you used it defensively, your inhibitors all respawned because of it. Though Prime dunking I'm not a fan of, and I really don't want that to return, I think there should either be an item that you have to buy that is a one-time use, or my preferred option where they respawn after 5 minutes, but each time the same inhibitor is destroyed, it takes longer to respawn. So for example, it gets killed, and then 5 minutes later the inhibitor respawns, and then each time after that it goes up in time duration for it to respawn. So for example, instead of 5 minutes, it could be 5 minutes, then 7 minutes, then 9 minutes, or 11 minutes, in that order. The timing isn't perfect probably, it's just a quick idea, but currently if you lose an inhib, that's a huge deal, as you are constantly having to push back the super minions. If it comes to Orb Prime or Fangtooth and they can push you in with supers and go do those, you basically either do a quick push and try to contest. In that scenario, if they stall you backing, your base will probably take damage, or you leave someone at the base to clear and you have a 4v5, or just let them take Fang and Orb to clear the minions. I get why Omeda are hesitant to put in respawning though, because it would elongate games, so maybe instead of 5 minutes, start them at like 6 or 7 minutes respawn timer, or alternatively, just start them respawning at 5, but make the successive destructions longer so it's more punishing to lose the same one twice. It's an awkward one, but I definitely don't want 1 hour 30-minute games like I used to get in very early Legacy Paragon. My brain switches off after about 45 or 50 minutes. Second to last thing I'd like to see added to Predecessor would be options to replace your flash, which might be controversial depending on what you want to replace it with. People have been throwing around the Discord teleport as an option, but I don't know how I'd feel about a 5-minute teleport, as it could make some laners a little too safe. However, replacing your flash for a 5-minute health potion that scales with your level, or mana potion that does the same thing, could be viable if balanced properly, and allows supports or carries a little more sustain and frees up some gold for wards or just a little bit of build progression. Another idea for what could go in that slot is a target marker, or something to that effect. You apply it to an enemy once every 5 minutes, and it will allow you alone to deal, let's say, 1% extra damage at level 1. That also scales with your level to a maximum of, let's say, 5%. I think a few replacement options for the flash we got given would be cool, but it's very much an eggshell situation where it would need to be very carefully thought out before adding any other options, as these sort of additions could be very hard to balance once added. My final thing that I'd like to see in Pred would be a dedicated ward slot or a consumable slot if you'd prefer that to a ward. Right now at full build you can't really use wards as there wouldn't be any space, and adding a special slot for these items would allow your team to still have ward coverage. Which in late game is essential, as if one person gets caught out, that could be the end of your game. Warding is hugely important the longer a game goes on, as is counter warding, which could also be put into that slot if you want to have the choice between warding or counter warding. I think this would be a nice change and allow for more team play and warding strategy. Nobody likes having to face check objectives to make sure the enemy isn't killing it. Let me know what you think of my ideas though, and definitely let me know what ideas you have that you'd like to see in Predecessor, as it's always fun to hear other people's thoughts on the game. Anyways, if you're interested, feel free to follow me. My Twitch, Twitter and Discord will all be in the pinned comment and description. But that's all the ideas I have for Pred in the future right now. Before ending the video, I just want to point out for those that watched until the end, Predecessor's Instagram post when the stress test got pulled used a picture of Faye, a support hero from Paragon. Out of all the heroes currently in, they used Faye, one that is currently not in Predecessor. Could have used Drongo, Kalari, Howitzer, but they chose Faye. I'll let you read into that what you will, but I have a strong suspicion that we will be seeing Faye shortly. But with that, I will see you for the next video.